Okay. We are recording.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the initial kickoff series of Grow Your Mind, which we are featuring teachers, some amazing educators from around the country, teaching growing your own fruits and vegetables in the comfort of your classroom, in your home, just some inspiring stories we have in store for you. My name is Troy Richardson, and I am your host. And I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran, and I have a health and wellness organization where we focus on health, nutrition, and financial health, and just making the world a better place. And I am blessed to have locked arms with this amazing organization that you are going to learn some more about today. I'm excited about the jump out of my skin for what's in store for you. So if you could just give us your undivided attention for maybe 30, 35 minutes, I guarantee you it will be well worth your while. So with that, I'm going to introduce our first guest speaker. And we have several today. But this is a gentleman that is just, again, a beacon of inspiration for so many kids around the country that he has been able to touch, not only in schools, but hospitals, various clubs, just touching people with his generosity and his knowledge. He's a retired teacher, he's a leadership coach, and he just oozes health and wellness out of his body every day. So please, let's give a warm welcome for Mr. Henry Lee.
Hi, everyone. Give me a little thumbs up if you can hear me all right. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Troy, for that warm introduction. As Troy said, I'm a former teacher, and a little bit of background for my story here. I grew up around Central Ohio in a little suburb called Dublin, Ohio, and I did my schooling at OSU. Ended up getting a degree in microbiology, secondary education, and I've been teaching at Dublin City Schools at the #1 school in the state for a while. And of course, who knows about those rankings now, but was teaching there for 14 years, biologies, chemistries, environmental sciences, and anatomy and physiology was my absolute favorite. Every single year I used to teach, you are what you eat. How many of you have heard that phrase before? Just show of hands, you are what you eat. Awesome. And you know, I really wasn't taking that heart. We oftentimes hear that cliche, but we don't realize that literally what you put in your mouth is what your cells are made of. And after being introduced from a couple different angles, lo and behold, there was a dental hygienist who walked in my classroom and started talking about tower gardens to my environmental science collaborative teacher. I had heard about them before, but I had no idea about any of the research that's been done, any of the infrastructure that has been put in the U.S. And so, just show of hands, how many of you have heard about tower gardens before? I see some of you have tower gardens in your background, which is awesome to see. All right, I'm going to show you a quick video just to show you how intriguing this is. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, Troy, is there any way that you can activate the permissions to share screen? It's a little caret next to you. Yep.
She'll take care of that, Henry.
Sanjay, it's the little caret next to the share screen button at the bottom. So as we're taking care of that, there's a little backstory. There is a environmental science teacher who I shared a classroom with by the name of Ashley. And Ashley now takes care of the 3 tower gardens in our school, since I travel around and help other districts get connected with this valuable resource. I'm going to show you a video of some of our students. I was just telling Sanjay and Troy and a couple of people about, we have full-grown football players and baseball players that get really excited about gardening and checking in their plants every day and harvesting and seeing how much they've grown. And it's such a cross-curriculum, hands-on, interactive, practical tool So I wanted to share this with you. This is, all right. And I can direct you to any of these videos so you can watch them and share them with whomever you'd like to as well. This is actually on my Facebook wall. And if you click on the next page here, these are our juniors and seniors. Check out this picture. Hold on.
I'm recording.
Check it out. Look how dope this picture is going. And I absolutely love, I don't know if could you hear the video on that or sorry, the audio? Okay.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you know, they're speaking kid language. Oh, that's so dope. Look at this kale. Or making fun of each other because one of them thought it was dino kale when it's actually curly kale. And we get emails all the time from parents saying, you know, Mr. Lee, we were at the grocery store and my kid asked for this type of kale. And I didn't even know that he knew what kale was. What are you doing to my kid? And of course, this is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, this tool, as you can see, and we're going to show you how it works and how to get connected with a resource where you can get these tower gardens essentially for free into your schools. There's a little basin at the bottom, and you can see it's a vertical aeroponic garden. And this is our school district here, our superintendent, along with some of our central office teachers. And I put together a playlist. So if you want to take a snapshot, a picture of this, the tinyurl.com JP Tower Garden. I've got a series of videos that you can watch, including some of the ones that we're going to show you today on how it works, what types of classrooms you can use it in. And that is a full-grown tower garden that you can see there. We like to use this phrase a lot, grow good health, because that's what we're doing. We're not just growing plants, we're growing food that is literally going to change the cravings of our students. So this is, I'm actually out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico right now. I've been out here for 3 months during this pandemic, and it's been really a blessing to be able to spend time with family. And this is actually my baby niece, and she's helping us plant, seed the arugula, which is super strong, and the basil and the gourmet lettuce and all sorts of different plants. So she's watering the rock wool. You can see those little cubes there. And then once they have germinated, then you place them up into the little wells. And I love this phrase that we use all the time. Our brain is our garden, and the roots are nurtured by the food that we eat. This was actually taken at an Alzheimer's and dementia community center or neighborhood that I work very closely with, where we're actually combating the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia using nutrition. But we use this phrase all the time in our schools, in our homeless shelters, and in community centers, anywhere we have tower gardens. This is a picture of one of our centers in downtown Columbus. It's called Urban Gems, and it's a partnership with Ohio State University, where we have in Columbus City Schools about 52 tower gardens now. I think all 7 stacks tall, and you can see relative height. This is one of our students who helps to maintain, harvest, to grow, and to sell the produce at farmers markets and educate the neighborhoods about good nutrition. And you can see the kids have fun after school with and really take ownership of these tower gardens by naming each of the tower gardens. So this one's called Dinner. How appropriate, right? Some of them are called Mitochondria and Photosynthesis and such. And he gives tours. And of course, once we open up the center again and we're able to have visitors, we'd be happy to show you around that center if you're around Ohio. But I also took a virtual tour and put it on that playlist that I showed you earlier as well. So I want to take a second to move into a little presentation I put together because you might be asking, okay, so this is a great, it looks like a great tool, but really, I mean, what's it going to do for my school? Okay, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us, and I wanted to show you. This is typically some of the information that we share with the kids, and at our school, in particularly Dublin Jerome High School, we teach them about meeting nutritional needs of the human body, and it's difficult these days because what kids don't know is that when they go to the grocery store, then a lot of the produce, about 90% of that, is actually comes from out of state or even imported from other countries. And if you're living in an area like I do in Ohio, you can't grow all year round. And so getting fresh, locally grown produce that has not been picked 3 weeks prior to being vine ripened and transported over thousands of miles is super important. And so we use this tool to teach sustainability in the science classroom, whether it's a biology classroom or environmental at high school level, or in middle school. The standards for at least Ohio are, I think, in 6th and 7th grade, where they learn more about environmental science classes or environmental science issues. And elementary down all the way through preschool and daycares, there's all sorts of lesson plans that we can show and use to have interactive hands-on activities for your kids. And this just shows you how traditional farming is done and how the soil, depending on what grade level we're speaking to, the soil gets depleted unless you do soil turnover, and the amount of space that it takes is going to be an issue, or is becoming an issue. Succession and desertification, drying up of the land is an issue. So again, we can cater all of these different lessons to your kids, and our parent company, Juice Plus, actually provides lesson plans for about 6th grade, and then you can cater that to any other grade up and down. And yes, you can see here, we do anything from a small scale into homes and to large scale into huge greenhouses. This is a greenhouse in, I think this one is in Arizona. It's called True Gardens in Mesa, which is a suburb of Phoenix. A lot of people don't know this, but a large part of the produce that Phoenix gets is actually from our tower gardens. And I think these tower gardens here, some of them are 11, 13 stacks tall. So they use up so little of the space. It's estimated about 10% of the land that is required, uses about 2% of the water that is required compared to regular soil, and doesn't require any weeding or putting any pesticides or herbicides or insecticides, and the kids don't have to have any gardening experience. And so we install these all over the place, but I wanted to show you for our particular target audience, our kids, right? And so how many of you, show of hands, remember going through school in a classroom setting that looked like this? And you might be thinking, oh yeah, I remember how bored that was, or how disconnected sometimes maybe you or the people around you were. And the problem is the classroom, this is, if you take a picture of the classroom 50 years ago and a picture of a classroom today, a lot of times they haven't even changed. And so our mission is severalfold, is to engage the students, is to get them up, moving, actual hands-on practical examples of how they're going to use this education rather than memorizing and regurgitating that. And then also put something in their hands that they are going to be able to use throughout the rest of their life. So this is another example of how Tower Gardens has revolutionized really our students' mentality and approach to food. You may remember your lunches looking like this, where you primarily have some sort of, some sort of makeshift pizza, maybe a sweet sugar infused applesauce, and a milk. Well, where are the fresh greens? Where are the fresh vegetables and fruits? If we're teaching our kids that they need at least 7 fist-sized servings of fruits and vegetables a day, then we're really doing them a disservice if this is what their lunches look like. And a lot of us, because we're living in urban areas, we don't have, or a lot of the kids may not have access, especially today, to the fresh greens. And so we educate the kids on how to get fresh produce into their homes. We can grow them in the classroom, and then the kids can take them, put them into a plastic bag and take them home and make salad for the evening. We actually have one of my good friends, Denise Jones. She's an elementary principal here in Ohio. And her vision is to install tower gardens in as many of her classrooms as she can, so the kids can take that produce home on a daily basis, and get fresh greens. We're going to show you a time lapse later about how fast these tower gardens grow. It's pretty impressive. They grow 3 times as fast with 30% more yield. But this is just another example of how we're using the tower gardens in school programs, gifted programs, STEM programs, and such. This is one of our good friends, Dr. Stephen Ritz. He started in the Bronx of New York, and these are some of his students that just absolutely love taking ownership of their tower gardens. And they, just like our kids over at Dublin Jerome, it's not only horizontal cross-curriculum between Global Gourmet, Foods and Fitness, and home ec classes, special ed, or even our business department. But they get online and they help other schools from around the country be educated on how they troubleshoot their tower gardens, how they're growing sustainability or teaching sustainability in their classrooms, and the teachers have the students train the grades below. So our high school students get to educate our middle school students and our elementary school students. And they put together all sorts of different lessons and stuff for them that is grade appropriate. So this just shows you an example of how fast it grows. This is a 14-day period. And between those 2 weeks, you can see this kale has blown up. A lot of the Swiss chard. We've thrown in cilantro. I mean, you can even down at the bottom put pumpkins and watermelons and peppers and tomatoes. And so it's very versatile. And I just want to point out that this is not just a group of tree huggers. This is actually research by Ohio State University and Cornell University did a study that showed that kids that grow their food, or that are in and around food that is not necessarily like getting it from a grocery store, are 5 times more likely to eat it. And so I wanted to show you, let's see here, I'm going to skip a couple for time's sake. We do all sorts of different lessons as far as like culinary with our students. And this is our final picture here before I show you what our garden actually looks like here in Albuquerque. And you can see there's all ages. Doesn't necessarily don't limit yourself to just elementary school and high school. We even have been partnering with all sorts of different schools like OSU. And right now we're in the process of talking to them about doing a, partnering with their high-tech greenhouse. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk you outside. All right. Oh, I stopped my screen share. Hold on 1 second. So Sandra, is there a chance that you can stop the screen share on that?
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So for those of you that are tuning in on your cell phones, you can swipe to the left so you can turn this into a bigger screen. And those of you are on a computer, then you can click on the top right-hand corner where it says Speaker View. So here in Albuquerque, like I said, I've been out here for about 3 months. I'm going to show you, this is our tower garden. And you can see it's got about a 20-gallon basin down at the bottom. We have our tomatoes. We have our dino kale. We got tons of basil, another type of kale, arugula, very sharp. We even have green onions that are super strong. Look how thick and strong these are, even in the winds of Albuquerque. And my baby niece, Samantha, and my brother and Karen, they help. It's super easy. They don't really have any gardening experience. And you just put the seedlings in these little plots here. And again, it grows 3 times as fast as it would in traditional soil. And that study has been done by a couple farms down in Atlanta, Georgia, and also at True Gardens over in Phoenix, Arizona. So just wanted to show you a bit of what that looks like. And last thing that I want to leave you with, I'm gonna turn my camera around so you can see me here, is if you're an educator and you are watching this, you might be thinking, okay, so this is great and all. I can come up with all sorts of different ideas on how I can incorporate this into my classroom. But what is the cost? And as far as grants are concerned, I'm going to give you an example of what we did over at Dell & Jerome. So we applied for a grant. We started doing some fundraising, and we ended up raising about $11,000. From that $11,000, 3,000 went to 3 tower gardens with all the bells and whistles. So very similar, like this, with all the lights, so they can grow indoors as well. The other 8,000 went to raised beds, hoop houses, things, a garden outside. When the school year started in mid-August, the kids start learning about sustainability. They start learning about photosynthesis and such, right? And then by the time that they're ready to plant, and you know, and the first frost hits, then they can't use the gardens outside anymore. And so the outside garden lays dormant all the way through the winter, through January, February, and March. And then finally around March and April, they start planting, but then the kids get out of school in May. And so the $8,000 that you would normally spend on an outdoor garden like that gets how many months of use, versus something like this, they spent the $3,000 on. They got it from a grant, so they didn't have to spend a penny on it. And because it is indoor and outdoor, then they were able to use it all year round with all of their different classes cross curriculum. So I can certainly help connect you with different types of grants, all sorts of grants out there with different companies. Even Bob Evans was one of our big supporters. And a lot of times PTO, if you have Rotary clubs, I speak to a bunch of different organizations that are more than happy to support your school system. So yeah, just wanted to let you know that finding funding for these projects, sometimes it takes a little bit of digging, but it is out there, and there are a ton of organizations that want to help your students. So thanks for letting me join you guys, and you can certainly leave any questions that you have in the chat, and I'll try to answer those to you in a timely manner.
We do have a couple of questions in the chat, Troy. So Henry, when you have a moment, unless you want it read out loud.
Yeah, here, okay. So I tell you what, I'm gonna run down back if I can read these a little readily. If you want to move on to the next part of the presentation with the videos, and then I'll answer the questions afterwards.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome, Henry. Thank you so much. And just a reminder, folks, we will be doing this again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, and Henry will also be giving this amazing talk and testimony in his journey. So that will be available again tomorrow also. And I just want to mention real quick, because this is all about our kids, and our kids are our greatest gift to us. And we have just a tremendous, incredible program that kids can get Juice Plus fruits and vegetables for 4 years for free when an adult sponsors them. So inquire about that. Whoever invited you, get back to them and ask them how you can be a part of that program. But right now, Dr. Shavers, who happens to be a licensed clinical social worker and educator herself, we're going to queue up a couple of videos. They're short videos, about 3 minutes total, just again to give you some more information and let you know why we are so passionate about inspiring healthy living.
Okay, this one is very short, but let's get it.
Hi, we are here today to talk to Bob Snyder. He's the life skills teacher here at the Cape Coral High School. He's going to tell us a little bit about his latest thing, the Tower Garden, that he has added to his classroom's curriculum. So Bob, why did the Tower Garden make sense to you?
It makes sense because it's all natural. It grows indoors, and the kids don't have to go out into the hot sun, and so everybody in the classroom can participate.
So that's why you chose to do inside gardening versus outside gardening?
That's correct.
How has your students been impacted by the Tower Garden since you put it in the classroom?
Well, they've learned all about the root systems in plants and different plants. They've learned how to use the different herbs that we've been growing. The culinary teacher here at the school uses some of our stuff.
Allison, so tell me what type of vegetables you're growing on the Tower Garden.
We're growing lettuce. We're growing kale, sweet peas, bok choy.
So Robbie, what's your favorite thing to grow on the Tower Garden?
Lettuce.
So this is our hydroponic tower garden. We are growing a lot of different kinds of vegetables and plants on here, and we have some students like Kyle who have been recording the measurements of how fast the plants are growing, which ones are growing the fastest, and so we're having a great time with it. We've made salads and soups, so we're really enjoying it.
It's amazing stuff right there.
Oh, hold on, guys. I'm sorry about that. It went right into the next. Oh, my goodness. Woo. Okay.
You know what? I will be leaving from Highland because my appointment got canceled. I can meet you. Can I be there in like 10 minutes? You want to meet me?
Hello, can you mute yourself, please?
I just muted her.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Troy,
Yes.
where are we in the agenda?
Oh, we're waiting on the Tower Garden video.
Okay, okay, let's move it along. Let's see here. I just wanted to, I'm his tech person who's not a tech person. Let's do it.
state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your Tower Garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
All right, moving forward. You can also use that great music if you like to merengue or salsa. Just a little added piece there, guys. But
Okay.
our next guest speaker is a local teacher, educator here in the great state of Maryland. And she teaches at Henry Flowers High School, okay? Touching kids every day, inspiring healthy living throughout the school, not only with the kids, but several teachers. She does her Salad in the Garden event all the time, which I had the pleasure to attend one before everything started happening. But again, just another beacon of inspiration and hope, as so many of us are in this mission that we're all on inspiring healthy living in really over 25 countries. So again, I just want to encourage you, get with the person who invited you and join us, lock arms with us, because we are making a difference in the health and nutrition of people all over the world. So with that, no further ado, please welcome Miss Lynette House.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lynette, as he said, and I need to get with Mr. Henry. That's who I need to get with. But it's Charles Herbert Flowers High School. He combined two different high schools. We have Henry Wise and Charles Herbert Flowers. We can't get them mixed up. You know, we're the Jaguars.
Hey, my kids go to Largo. Go Lions! So, wait, stop it.
All right, so wow, that was so inspirational, Henry. I really do need to talk to you. I started this journey a couple of years ago with my towers. I've been with the company for I've been eating the product for about 7 or 8 years. I've been a rep for about the last 3 years. So I finally came on board after giving away a lot of product. And my upline said, girl, you got to stop playing and become a rep. So I said, okay. So I actually purchased a Tower Garden before I became a rep. I watched it for about a year and I said, you know what? I think this is going to be very cost effective. And so I decided to get a Tower Garden. A year later, I got another one. And in between, we have a food nutrition program at our high school. And I talked to the chef there first, and he was like, I don't know. He has a whole lot of stuff going on. I don't know about if I have time to food with the Tower Garden. And so finally I talked to the environmental teachers, and she was like, yes, I would love to do that. And so we said, let's see if we can get the principal on board, which if you're in the county, that's Dr. Warren Brown. And so he and my upline, Beverly, scheduled a meeting, and he was like, yes, let's go ahead and let's do this. And so he purchased 2 gardens for the environmental club. I was hoping to put some pictures up, but it's on my other device and I can't get it up on this one. The main thing is the kids, once they get involved, oh my goodness, the inspiration from them is priceless. You know, they're not used to, because they don't come from families usually that in our area that are gardeners, they're outdoor gardeners or indoor gardeners. So when they started, they actually put the tower together. The environmental teacher bought one for her home, and I went out to her house to help her put hers together. You're muted, Sandra.
I'm gonna try to mute that person out. Hold on.
Oh, okay. So then when the towers came, she was like, are you gonna put those together? I said, no, indeed, I'm not gonna put them together. We're gonna get these kids to get involved and put these towers together. And plus I was working with the science and tech coordinator, and I'm like, no. And so I had a couple kids come down, and thank goodness for YouTube. I said, look guys, I want you to go on YouTube, take it to the classroom. It's a nice tutorial on there, put it together. And the environment teacher was like, I cannot believe they actually put those towers together. I said, it was simple. And so they really got involved from the beginning. And so I said, you just assign some kids, to do the water, pH, and then they, she did her own lesson plan. But the problem was they didn't want to eat the food. Like the teacher was like, it's too pretty. And I said, if you don't eat it, it's gonna get bitter. It's not gonna taste good. You guys have got to fill it off. So they finally had a little party. But what's different for them was since it was so fresh, they're used to eating the stuff that's from the grocery stores. And so for them, the taste was like, oh, this is really, really different. And then at the same time, so Dr. Ojenta was pulling it off and eating it right off the garden. Like, how can you do that? So that was a good thing for them, because they got a chance to experience what was really, really fresh. Against, even if it's organic from the store, it's been already harvested and gone to the store, so it's still not as fresh as it is off the tower garden. Now, the other flip side of this, it took me a minute to get these in the garden with our county. I talked to about 10 people, and everybody was giving me a different way what I had to do in order to get these in the school. We have to get on this list, and we have to get on that. You got to get in this, and everybody was giving me. It took me about 6 months actually because everybody, the county just didn't working together. So when we finally did get it in, because we started that summer, and they were in the schools maybe by that December. And so they started actually put it up that January, and and got it going. So when I say, and our environmental teacher was trying to get a grant, she wrote to a couple of people, and we were turned down because we were trying to get a couple more. So that's why I was saying, Henry, maybe you can help us with that. Now the good side though, there was a person here in the county, I'm not sure who that was, donated 25 tower gardens to 25 elementary schools in our area. So that we're trying to do, see if we can get that same, not necessarily the same person, but how can we get these in the rest of some other high schools, areas too. So 25, free gardens, that was awesome for them to do that. But I also work with park and planning during the summer. And so I couldn't take my tower to school, but I talked about towers. My kids are from 5 to 12. And I wanted to share a picture with you guys. I don't know if I can I share my screen? Let's see. No, wait a minute.
You should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, let's see if I can. Oh, shoot, I don't know if I can get to it now. I don't know if I can get to it. I'm not that savvy on this.
Okay, it's okay. But we
yeah.
have a great,
so
you're
what I did
painting a
with
great
them,
picture.
and like Troy mentioned, and I had them do this at the high school, is, I really do these salad in the jars. And so the salad in the jar was awesome with the kids. So I had each home bring in bag, fresh from the store, 2 ingredients, healthy ingredients that they like in their salad. And we put them out on the table, and they brought the jars in and the salad dressing, and they made their own salads. And these were elementary school kids I did this with, and talked about the tower garden, and it's inspiring that healthy living in the younger ones is the most important thing. You know, by the time when they get to high school, they've been introduced to some everything, and they may not want to at that point. But if we could get it in the youngsters, then that's really awesome. But I'll show you. I'm actually starting over with my tower gardens here, but I've just harvested quite a bit of it. But I grew collard greens for the first time, and I decided I wanted more, so I ordered more collards this time so I could have a bigger bunch. And it has parsley on it and the basil. The parsley and the basil goes wild. I have cut everything back. That's a dill plant. It was so much dill on there. I was like, I have to cut this back. You see the stalk is pretty thick, and the chard. And then I have the onions on here. Now my grandson's school decided that they would do beans in a bag. And so I said, okay, I had some black-eyed peas. And so what I did was his instructor said, put them in with a wet paper towel and then watch the roots, come out. So so I took it after the roots are come, put it in the rock wool, and here's the black-eyed peas now. So I did 3 of those. So I'm gonna see how that works because I've never grown any beans, so I've grown that. So you can grow almost just about anything that you want. It's my juice glass. You can grow almost anything that you want in these towers. Of course, it's harder to grow the fruit indoors because they don't grow as well indoors as they do out. Never say never though, because see, if you guys, I don't know if y'all know Beverly Grandison, but that's my upline. And Bam's like, girl, stop playing. You're not gonna grow no fruit in your, how she talks. You're not gonna grow no fruit inside. You're trying to grow those tomatoes. It's not gonna happen. I said, I kept putting my little tomatoes back and putting. I said, let me let it alone. After a while, I saw my little green tomatoes, and she's in Jenny. She came out. She goes, stop playing. You got tomatoes. So never say never. What might grow on your tower garden? Just try it. It just might happen. So yeah. So that's my spiel about the tower garden. But yes, I'm trying to get more in the county here, and definitely, Henry, if you could help us with that, I would be more than appreciative.
All right. Well, thank you, Lynette. Thank you for all you're doing with those kids, especially in Charles H. Flowers High School. And folks, next we have our last guest speaker. But before we get into Mr. Rory T. Edwards, I just want to recognize someone on the call, on the Zoom, and that is another licensed clinical social worker out of Chicago, working in her private practice with special needs children, doing an amazing job, Miss Gay Russell. Okay, Miss Russell, can you just say hello to the group?
Yep, this is Gay. I just was so delighted, Henry, to hear what you're doing. I mean, thank you so much, Troy, for gathering the folks. And Lynette, for the big difference that you're talking about and the fun and the excitement with kids with high school age, being able to enjoy all those good nutrients. What I do know about mental health is that we really can't even feel our best or feel the most positive if we don't have a lot of good greens in us, because all that good natural magnesium and all those micronutrients that are in all those vegetables are the things that make us feel good and make us less judgmental, make us more calm. So that's why we need to be eating them all. And I love it, that the kids in my office are the ones that are in charge of the Tower Garden. I practice with them saying, I'm your boss. You get to tell me what to do. And so then they'll let me know, we need to fill it. We need to check the pH. And as I mentioned in the chat, one of my little guys, he was eating kale and talking about kale before he could even say the word and taking care of it. So, and he now they'll go to a museum or somewhere or to outside somewhere where they'll see kale, and he wants to make sure his mom takes a picture of the kale and sends it to Miss Russell. So those are the impacts that you can make by just reaching out and sharing information. And the Tower Garden is an easy way to do it. In Chicago, we don't have but maybe 2 months where we can grow things. So it really is a powerful way to reach people throughout the whole year. So thank you guys all for this gathering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gay Russell. Now I want to introduce a gentleman who also has been an educator in many different aspects over the years, but has touched a lot of young lives during his journey. And he works real close with athletes, teaching nutrition and just, again, another beacon of light with inspiring healthy living. But with that said, let me introduce my good friend, my business partner, Mr. Rory T. Edwards.
Hey, thank you, Troy. Can you all hear me? Because I'm driving, so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm coming through.
Yes, we got you.
Okay, so I'm not going to take long because it's very uncomfortable for me to try to keep my eye on the road and speak. But one of the things I first and foremost want to say is thank you, Troy, for putting together such an amazing program. The gentleman, I believe his name is Henry, and if I'm wrong, please chalk it up to my ears, not my heart, because I was trying to drive and listen. But I think the information that he had was very valuable. And to all the other speakers that you had, I think that the information as far as providing the right nutrients in our children are the most important way for them to become lifelong learners. Now, Troy did say I was an educator. I taught at all levels, elementary through college, was a principal at a charter school in Connecticut, also started my own charter school in Connecticut, have helped several individuals in the state of Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia, and a few other places to develop schools and to also develop programming that helps children. Like Troy did say, I am part of one of my main initiatives now is to support athletes and their nutrition. And we utilize the Juice Plus product because we realize that the one thing that athletes do have a deficiency on is their recovery and their performance. And we're talking about the times that lapse. And most of the times that happens is because they don't have the right nutrients. They're eating insufficient nutrients that will give them the energy and the muscle building opportunities to become competitive and excel at athletics. But one of the things that I did want to just share was that in the work that I've done, and that's how, and one of the things I want to highlight is that's how I know Dr. Shavers is. She and I did an amazing program together in Dooley County, Georgia. And I wish that we were involved in this because we would have had thousands of kids and families in the Dooley County area eating better, having better nutrition, and also being more conscious of what goes into their body, how they invest in what they ingest. And so one of the things that I did want to say is that what I did see in working with a lot of times underprivileged individuals, I don't ever want to call anybody underprivileged. I just think that your situation sometimes causes you to not have the resources that some other communities may have. But in those environments, we found that a lot of children, if they were given an opportunity to work on a project, then they usually excelled. I used a lot of different projects with students who were labeled as misbehaved or dysfunctional. Well, we don't want to even call the word dysfunctional, but they didn't operate under the standards of what the schools were actually requiring them to do. And I think that the Tower Garden would be an amazing opportunity for students to feel about something that they value, gives them value for them to have some type of opportunities to work with something that gives them value. And so I've reached out to a lot of my colleagues. I still have a few people who I've worked with on this educational journey who are still within school districts or have moved on to foundations and organizations. And we are talking about which ways to get Tower Gardens in some underserved areas, and also areas who may have the ability to afford this, but not have the knowledge. And so the gentleman who shared with ways of resources, I would definitely like to reach out to him so I can either attach those resources with some of the individuals who I'm working with. And so with that said, I am going to again thank Troy for inviting me. Wonderful call, a wonderful work that you all are doing. And I just say keep providing the proper information and the proper nutrients for our children, because we know that our children are the future. And for us to provide the greatest resources for our future, they first and foremost must have the mentality to understand their worth. So thank you very much for that opportunity, and great work again, Troy, my man.
Right. Rory, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Safe driving for sure, for sure. But folks, as my pastor and so many pastors around the country normally do when we're coming to an end, they usually say, folks, the doors are open. Come join us now. So I just want to ask you, if something has resonated with you, if there's some words that are speaking to you, if some videos have captured your imagination, then run with it. Don't even think twice. Run with it. Reach out to the person that invited you. Reach out. We have tremendous resources. We are one team, one mindset with one mission. So just reach out and we will find that resource for you. We will make sure you get the information that you need so that you can do whatever you want to do with the Tower Garden in your school, in your home, and you can be part of this team that is inspiring healthy living in, like I said, over 25 countries. Dr. Shavers, do we have any questions? I know Henry had some questions. Can we check the chat to make sure? I know we're coming up at 3 o'clock and we're going to stay online.
We're good. I think Henry has addressed all the questions. I do want to recognize Lori Weeks because we've all seen her towers in Augusta, outside Augusta, Georgia, and they're just amazing. So I saw her and I wanted to call her out with that. But
absolutely, absolutely. Hello, Lori. Thank you for joining.
So, but
thank you
so much. But all the other questions have been answered, and Patrice is waving at you too, Lori.
She has the best towers. We need to see them.
Well, it's 2:55. Lori, can you show us your Tower Garden forest?
She has a community. She's muted. Unmute.
Yeah.
She really does have a forest.
Okay,
we hear you.
Okay, I'm unmuted, and now I'm gonna. Hello, everyone. Thank you. All right, I'm happy to show the towers. Here we are. So here is my mainstay. This tower provides us with 3 different types of kale. We're growing Brussels sprouts. Someone mentioned that it's so important to have it vine ripened, so we're picking these every day. We have more tomatoes. We're eating from the rainbow. Here's a Swiss chard. Peppers are ready. And I love trying new brands or new varieties. So this one is called a salsa tomato. And we have Washington tomatoes here. And then when I saw that, wow, for the first time in my life, I could be successful as a gardener, we soon after added a second tower. And this tower, I'm putting here some of the things that I harvested that I've grown with the tower. Spaghetti squash is one of my favorite. And then this is, we did a butternut squash and a yellow squash. This one is my herb tower. I have lemon balm and echinacea and basil and lavender and stevia, because I've, with the support of this community, I've gotten away from sugars. And at the top we have nasturtium and a pride and joy. We have a mammoth sunflower top of it. On this tower is dedicated to all of the fruits. So we have cantaloupe, melon, and I'm into heirloom seeds. And so this one is a vine peach mango. I've never heard of it, never tasted it. So when I saw that seed, I really wanted to have an opportunity to grow some things that you really can't find at the store. And lastly, I realized with all of these greens, I was still purchasing a frozen bag of strawberries from the grocery. So this tower from here up is dedicated all to strawberries. And I plan to just harvest all my own fruits and vegetables. And then, wow, look, you guys, here are my cucumbers. And they're just thick on the vine here. So thank you so much. You know, this has really encouraged my husband and I to not only just, we started with one tower, but when we saw the difference, that the ease with which we could grow, and we found out, experienced the changes it was making in our body, we have taken on the challenge to grow most of our own food. I really appreciate an opportunity to share, and always am so grateful for this community. Thanks.
Hey, Lori, thank you. And Lori's a little modest. She actually, her and her husband are feeding a couple third world countries with their forest. So we thank her for her global just giving. But folks, I mean, how can you not be inspired by these people like I was? Just incredible. But again, we're going to be back here tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you know any teachers, if you know anyone in hospitals, it doesn't matter. If it has anything to do with wanting to be healthy and inspiring healthy living, we're here. This community is growing, and we want you to be a part of it. We need you. Again, over 25 countries, we are changing lives, and we can't do it alone. We need you to join us. So please, get with the person who invited you, and let's talk, and hopefully we'll see everyone tomorrow with several guests and inspiring each other once again. So if anyone has any questions, we're going to keep this live going, but we're going to stop the recording now. So just hang out and we can have a little Q&A session.